Fani Willis is back. And we're going to spend about 30 to 40 minutes covering everything Fani Willis. And so I want you guys to buckle up your seatbelts. Make sure that you are in a comfortable space. Make sure that you got your headphones on, or if you got me on the big TV, that all of your friends and family can hear me. And then send this out to Gam Gam. Gam Gam needs to know what's going on with Fani Willis and what's happening within our justice system. Absolutely. But we're going to start with Fani Willis versus Trump. Okay? So first things first, the Georgia court agrees to hear Trump's appeal to disqualify Fani Willis altogether. Check it out.
Yeah, but Fox News alert, this just in. The Georgia Court of Appeals has granted the defense's application for an appeal after, you remember back, let's go back to Georgia. That's Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Remember them? Okay. And she has said that they did absolutely nothing wrong. Trump's side is saying, we want an appeal. And the Judge McAfee had ruled that the special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, resigned from the Trump election interference case in Georgia. Originally, the judge had given the Fulton County DA's office a choice between having Willis remove herself or having Wade resign. And obviously, Willis didn't remove herself from the case. So that means going forward, the court is going to hear defense arguments on why they think Fani Willis should have been removed from the case. So there's no date on this yet, and this news about this willingness to grant Trump's Fani Willis appeal is just coming into us.
So one more thing to add here. Stephen Sadow just tweeted this. He's a Trump lawyer. On X, he writes, the Georgia Court of Appeals has granted President Trump's application for appeal from the trial court's order refusing to disqualify.
Hey, hold on. Low key, though, he just skipped over a word. I think it's interlocutory. He just skipped over that word, acting like he didn't know that that word was right there. He was reading the tweet from X. Oh, he just completely skipped over that word like it didn't exist. But hold on, let me go ahead and see what he was about to say again.
President Trump's application for appeal from the trial court's order refusing to disqualify Fulton County DA Fani Willis. So
maybe not so much of a strong reader, but we're going to continue.
It would seem that he's injecting
Thank
a
you,
little bit of
damn
optimism
eyes.
into that X
Yes, and
message.
we're very fortunate. We have Alina Habba, one of President Trump's lawyers, coming on the show with us in just about half an hour or so. So stay with us. You'll get to hear her first reaction.
I'm Steve Deuce.
All right, so that's what we got going on over as far as the whole Trump case. A judge has agreed to hear the appeal in order to disqualify her altogether from the case. So they sweeping that under the rug. They don't want to have a conversation about that because of the Trump hush money trial. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. But Nathan Wade has recently done an interview, ladies and gentlemen, and I thought that y'all would find this amusing. Yes, Nathan Wade has sat down with ABC to discuss everything. Everything. Whether he regrets getting into a relationship with Fani Willis, the Trump case, so on and so forth. Let's check it out. I haven't seen this. I'm looking at it for the first time.
ABC News exclusive with former Fulton County Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, who is breaking his silence after being forced to step down from a historic prosecution of former President Trump because of his romantic relationship with DA Fani Willis. In our wide-ranging interview, Wade talks about what he does and does not regret and where the case goes from here. What do you want people to know?
I want people to know the real me.
So there are those who say you weren't qualified for this case. How do you respond?
I respond by saying, let's give it some color. I defended murders, rapes, armed robbers, molesters, mostly criminal cases that dealt with high stakes, including life. The picture that was being painted, that there was no experience, is just not an accurate one.
You and Fani meet in 2019?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the extent of your relationship prior to November 1st of 2021?
We met at a judges conference. We stayed professional friends for quite a bit of time thereafter. Started to pick up a little bit when COVID started. We began to spend inordinate amounts of time communicating. During the course of the investigation, nights, weekends, evenings, mornings, I can't tell you how much time that we spent together. we got closer and closer and closer. Workplace romances are as American as apple pie. It happened.
Keep your chick out of the workplace. That's the lesson that I'm getting from it. Before we get into Fani Willis and whether or not he was qualified, because we all know that he wasn't qualified and he wound up getting the bag as a result of busting it down. The moral of the story is if you can, unless you met her and she already working and she has the ability to keep herself out of the loop at all the time. The person that wind up getting themselves in a situation is usually a person that's based off of familiarity. It's all familiarity. It has nothing to do with whether or not she went out and sought it or whatever. They working on her every single. I don't care if you a lawyer next to Fani Willis, or if you sitting in an Amazon warehouse, or you on a plant floor, you in the military, truck drivers. Familiarity breeds. Familiarity breeds. And so there's no way in the world that he would have just got this off of his own merits. He got this based off of the fact that he had been sitting next to her and getting it in with her all the time. And so as a result, wound up busting it down. Started off with text messages, and it started, man, y'all chick keep telling you, oh no, that's my friend. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. That's your replacement. That's your replacement. That's they other. That's they significant other in real time. You know why these guys back in the day used to keep their woman at home? Because they know that everybody in the facility is going to be trying to bust her down. We had this conversation on After Hours yesterday. They said, Anton, what would you suggest for a newly married couple? Stay out the way. Stay out the way. Stay out of the mix. Don't keep going back to the same familiar places that you was in, because you're going to find yourself doing the same thing that you was doing. Stay out the way. Keep bringing your chick and introducing her to all of your. Nah, stay out the way. You good. You good. You see me down here cooking up in the studio? My daughter and way out there, way out in the suburbs, staying on out the way. Get on out the way, girl.
It's to everyone. But it happened to the two of us.
Do you regret it?
I regret that private matter became the focal point of this very important prosecution. I hate that my personal life has begun to overshadow the true issues in the case.
Well, that's what happens when you decide that you want to insert your Johnson into the person that you were supposed to be working with. But the real question then becomes, would you have ever got that position if you wasn't inserting your Johnson in the person that you was working with? That's the real question here. Would you would have ever gotten a job in the position and gotten an extraordinary amount of pay to the tune of $750,000, who knows, $600,000, I forgot what the amount was. We covered it. You got paid way more than the people that was more qualified than you to do it, but she didn't like working with the white people, the old white man or the old white woman. She wanted to work with you. I wonder why. She didn't want to work with the people that have been prosecuting cases like this for an extraordinary amount of time. She wanted to work with you. Workplace romances happen all the time.
But at some point, once that bond is there, and if democracy is on the line, as has been described, do you say, maybe we pause this until after?
And nobody had to.
Absolutely. I'll concede that could have been an approach. But when you are in the middle of it, these feelings are developing, and you get to a point to where the feelings are so strong that you start to want to do things that really are none of the public's concern.
No, it's you're using public dollars to pay him to prosecute a former president unjustly. How is it not the public's concern? And see, this is one of the reasons why it's important for us to vet the people that we put in office, whether it's a prosecutor, a judge, a legislator, a president, a mayor, a governor. You have to pay attention to this man's judgment is off. Even after all that he's been through, Even after the fact that he's basically lost everything and he's been kicked off of the case and his whole life has been exposed, after all of this, he's still sitting here telling you that even though they use taxpayer dollars to prosecute, even though they use taxpayer dollars to pay him, even though they're using taxpayer dollars in order to bill you guys, you, the general public, on what it is that they're doing on a regular basis, they telling you that it's not your concern, even though it's your money and they representing you, the people. It's not your concern. It doesn't really matter. No. Listen, it doesn't matter that I was billing for invoices for 24 hours. Nah, not your concern. Not your concern how I qualified or whether or not I was actually qualified to do the job and whether I was in a romantic situation with the person that was supposed to be my boss. Nah, not your concern at all. And then they tried to cover it up. Not your concern that it's a possibility that we was committing.
The two of us that things could bleed over into the case and start to affect it. And so we made the adult-like decision to
I see you, Noble.
do what we did.
Do what we did.
Y'all said, did you see Roland Martin going off on Kwame Kilpatrick? I just talked to Kwame Kilpatrick this morning. Ain't nobody thinking about no Roland Martin.
What do you mean by that?
In terms of protecting the integrity of the case, keeping the rest of the office out of our personal and private lives, and at the point that we decided to discontinue the relationship, we did.
But it's my understanding that the
He can't even hide his lies. He starts smiling every time that he says something that he know he wasn't supposed to be in the first place. Look at him.
The relationship, we did.
But it's my understanding that the relationship ended not because you were worried about
What's up, Messi?
it bleeding over, but you all just had differences of the value of a male and female in a relationship, that kind of thing, that you ultimately started having some heated conversations. But correct me if I'm wrong, was there a point that you all stopped because you said, this is inappropriate, this could impact the integrity of the case?
Okay, that's a lot there. So we didn't have heated conversations to the extent that we were at odds and arguing about the.
Thank you, Bosa. I'm going to read that super chat shortly.
I mean, Fani said on the witness stand, like, oh, according to Mr. Wade, the only thing a woman can do is make me a sandwich, right? I mean, and she said, she's the one who described it as heated conversation.
She said that, listen, if I made a statement like that, certainly it was in jest.
I'm going to replay that for y'all just one more time.
Listen, if I made a statement like that, certainly it was in jest. I respect women.
So just give me a sense of the timeline as far as...
Just say it. You've been listening to Kevin Samuels, and can't no woman do nothing for you except make you a sandwich and make you special prosecutor and write you some checks and have you bill for 24 hours. Just say it. You've been listening to Kev, and you said, I'm a high-value man, and can't nothing that a woman do for me except for make me a sandwich.
When the romance actually started and then once it stopped?
So early 2022 to late 2023 is the time frame. What people don't see and don't know is that we continue to have a very close relationship. We are friends.
A Washington Post columnist wrote, what were they thinking? How could two seasoned attorneys embroiled in the prosecution of a former president start a romance and not see this trouble coming a mile away?
Facts.
And so what were you thinking in that moment?
You don't plan to develop feelings. You don't plan to fall in love. You don't plan to have some relationship in the workplace. You don't set out to do that. And
This is why I tell men all the time that relationships are business first. Relationships are business first. And I tell you every single day, and y'all say, oh, Anton, you crazy. You just trying to de-police. No. No. You can't look at it like a woman. Women look at things and they let their emotions lead them. Men, real men, grown men that have put away childish things are supposed to be leading with their business perspective and looking at every single angle and how this could ultimately come back to affect you, affect your bag, affect your family, affect your kids, and affect your well-being. I'm never, under any circumstances, ever putting any woman in a position or jeopardizing my bag over no box. I ain't seen no box that's worth that much. I ain't seen no box in my life that's worth me putting my emotions to the side in order for me to go ahead and fall in love. And there ain't enough love in the world. It ain't enough love in the world. You know what I love? I love going to shop when I want to. I love going to travel when I want to. I love being able to buy a car when I want to. I love doing what I want to do when I want to do it. And it ain't nothing in that contract that says that box is going to get me there. I ain't never seen no box. I'm going to quote my dog Royce the 5'9". The only time I'd have never seen a woman made a man a millionaire is when he used to be a former billionaire. Never, ever, under any circumstance. You know, I was just literally tracking my Porsche today. I was literally just tracking my Porsche today. They said, Anton, your 911 is on its way. Just got produced. Every day. I don't be checking my cell phone. I don't be checking my phone for no text messages from no chicks. I be checking my email notifications for this Porsche that I'm building, this Porsche. Absolutely I do. 100%. Ain't nowhere in the world that I'm ever going to put my bag on the line for no hussy. For a hussy? For a chick? Man, you must be crazy. Said, Anton, you like, no, I'm not lying. See, I'll show it to you. I have no problems whatsoever letting you know exactly what's going on out here in my life. I ain't lying. I'm 1,000% dialed in. I said, I got a new one coming, and I got to make sure that I'm on top of things. I can't be fumbling the bag. We got a Porsche on the way. Yes, sir. We got a Porsche on the way. Yes, we do. See that? Successfully produced. It's over here. If you go down the map, it was produced over here in Stuttgart, Germany. I keep this. This is basically my screensaver. It's produced in Stuttgart, Germany. Shipped right here. It's over there. Pretty soon it should be landing all the way over here. And then it's going to come on up to Michigan. Come on up to Daddy so I can come and pick it up in Ann Arbor. Yeah, successfully produced 428. 18 days till arrival. It's actually ahead of time. I thought it was coming in June, but it's coming in May. 526, 3,500 miles to the destination. Woo! I just got a picture of it too the other day. This is the production version. Oh man, it's looking gorgeous. Look at the picture of that joint. You think for 1 second that I am about to jeopardize, this is it coming off the factory assembly line. A lot of people are not familiar with the process of when your car get produced. Do you think for 1 second that I'm about to jeopardize my 911 for no hussy? Do you think for 1 second that I'm about to jeopardize my 911 for no hussy? Boy, you got another thing coming. You see how gorgeous it is? It got red seats, blood red guts, red seats. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to show you guys what it looks like. Can't wait to show you guys what the Porsche looks like. I handpicked every single thing from the stitching to the crest, everything. Never fumble your bag over no hussy. Under no circumstances. Let's continue. This is a lesson for y'all. This is a lesson for all of the women that got sons, show them this video. For all of the men that got sons, show them this video. Lean into your greatness and make sure you prioritize what makes sense, not what makes you feel good. All right?
Things develop organically. They develop over time. And the minute we had that sobering moment, we discontinued it.
January 8th, a motion is brought that reveals that there's been this relationship. At that time, the relationship was over, correct? The romantic aspect of the relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
What was going through your mind on that day when it suddenly becomes, I know you've said before it wasn't a secret, but now it does become public?
Where is the relevance here? How does this in any way affect the prosecution of those charged in the election interference case? So
for 25 days, we didn't hear from you or District Attorney Willis. Why not come forward? At that point, you're a public servant, right? Getting paid from the state of Georgia. Why not say, okay, we'll make a statement, we'll get on top of this, we'll get ahead of this?
Let me say this. My conversation here with you today is just that. It's Nathan's conversation. I do not speak for the district attorney's office. I do not speak for their position. As a matter of fact, I'm certain that they would rather me not be having this exchange with you.
So you said you didn't want to violate the public's trust. I'm curious, do you think that you've done any kind of damage to this case?
None at all.
This man is full of delusion. He just like a woman. This is the mindset that got you in this situation in the first place, Mr. Wade. This man is so delusional. He said that, are you listening to him? Listen, before we even did this, I just showed y'all that Trump just got granted an appeal, or he got granted the potential for an appeal in removing Fani Willis from the case in the first place. That just came out this morning. Just came out this morning, and he's sitting here with a straight face telling you that he does not believe that it damages the case in the first place. Okay, I got you.
None at all.
Even the public perception of it.
My private life became the focal point of the case. And my private life has nothing to do with the merits of that prosecution.
Idiot.
Donald Trump now is trying to get the judge's decision overruled. We'll find out in a week or so if Fani Willis gets to stay on the case. Do you feel, as we sit here today, that this case is in jeopardy?
Because that issue is before the Court of Appeals currently, my goal is to protect the integrity of the process. I don't want to say anything that's going to jeopardize that, but Nathan Wade does not feel that the case is in any way in jeopardy.
So you didn't realize when you took the case your life was really going to be under a microscope?
I did not realize that my life would be in danger. The microscope, I don't have a problem with.
You're just like the rest of us on the outside looking in. I'm curious if you think that Donald Trump will be convicted.
I don't even want to get into what his opinion is, because we know that he's going to be biased because he's the one that worked on the case. So that's not necessary in this conversation. But the point that I wanted to make to you guys, and the reason why this is so important for us to have this conversation, is two things. Number one, Fani Willis is still going to be under a microscope for the rest of her life, and she will never be able to live this down, and her reputation is ruined. His reputation is ruined. His divorce was one of the things that absolutely blew this case open in the first place, and so you got to give his ex-wife a lot of credit for being patient enough to wait for this dude to fall right into the trap that they set for Samson. And then he walked right in with size 12 shoes and said, take me, I'm your leader. We have to have a level of discipline as men, and we cannot continue to lean into our emotions in order to determine whether or not we're going to make a decision. Every single thing that you need to do is business.